The summer heat is here and it's pretty hot in my apartment because I'm not running the AC as usual. So let's try to conclude this chapter in this heat and humidity. So we're concluding the whole section of sustainability based on this book on sustainability principles. So chapter 11, the last chapter, is on concluding remarks, so I'm going to read the whole thing. There is no doubt that our world is in a grave state. Centuries of unprecedented developmental leaps in terms of energy output, economic development, increase in life expectancy, and decrease in adult illiteracy and child mortality have unfortunately had side effects that have accumulated into a whole range of sustainability challenges and their symptomatic events. I like this terminology and I'm going to adopt it as well. The sustainability challenge, which is not entirely new, but definitely much better than the climate crisis. As I have said on many occasions, climate crisis is used by people, especially climate scientists, who are living a fairly normal life, and they keep saying we are in a crisis, so its credibility is a bit strained over there. So sustainability challenge, on the other hand, sounds more realistic and really what we want to accomplish in the end, as we defined here in terms of the phase space of human development index not falling below a threshold and environmental footprint not crossing a threshold as well. So we have pushed onto an edge of a cliff, and we are increasingly realizing that our contemporary practices and ways of life, at least among the affluent, are jeopardizing the entire world as we know it. But this doesn't stop people from continuing with this energy intensive, consumption intensive lifestyle. However, hope is as stubborn as ever. So we are born with negative biases, confirmation biases, negativity biases, confirmation biases, but also we can be incredibly stubborn, which can serve us well on some occasions. Despite daily catastrophes in the media, effects of human-made and natural environmental disasters, social inequality and unfair economic priorities, loud exclamations of hope are constantly heard. So we have all the messages about climate disasters, natural disasters, environmental harm and biodiversity loss, species extinction and so on, and we still hear hope all around, which is a good thing because you don't want young people to lose hope about the future, right? The future is not predestined or predetermined in any way, but instead contingent on choice, decision and action that we make now. There are, in other words, infinite possible futures ahead of us, and to get the future we want, we must think about what to do and not to do today in order to bring that future about, which is what the discussion was about. The choice is ours. We have done it in the past and we can do it again. So the idea that we have had major transformations and social change, so we can still do it, is a good message as well. As I set out to demonstrate in this book, sustainable development demands conceptual and practical approaches to safety and sustainability that help us grasp or manage uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, and dynamic change. This concluding chapter attempts to close the rhetorical loop between the descriptive, the conceptual, and the transformative perspectives of the three parts of this book. It is thus focusing on drawing out the key messages from each of the three parts: the state of the world, approaching the world, and changing the world, and summarizing them into a sustainability science approach to managing risk and resilience for sustainable development. Okay, remember that risk brings detours from sustainability development pathway, and resilience keeps bringing us back to the pathway that we want to stay on. So summarizing each section then: the state of the world. Our world has a long history of change, from a burning inferno to the amazing planet we live on today. Although human beings have looked the same for around 200,000 years and had the same intellectual capacity for around 60,000 years, out of Africa happened around that time. It was not until the onset of the Neolithic Revolution some 10,000 years ago that we started to more significantly alter our environment to suit our purposes. The local sustainability challenge of overwhelming the carrying capacity of the immediate environment of hunter-gatherer society, leading to starvation or migration, turned into a regional sustainability challenge in terms of depleted agricultural lands, on increasing distances around the emerging cities of early agrarian society. So each society faced its own sustainability challenge. So globally we have had regional sustainability challenges. As we learned how to manage one sustainability challenge, we created others at times, or even contributed to the downfall. So we created others that at times even created let me read it again. I am getting hungry. As we learned how to manage one sustainability challenge, we created others that at times even contributed to the downfall of entire societies. Social scientists argue about whether societies go extinct or they just merge with other societies and migrate out and disappear into other societies and so on. Then the second great transformation, the Industrial Revolution, helped us overcome the perennial agrarian limitation of relying on biomass as more or less the sole source of energy, causing unprecedented developments in all spheres of society. We had yet again overcome one sustainability challenge, but created new ones that over the last 3 centuries have materialized into the current core challenges of humankind that we discussed throughout the book. The local and regional sustainability challenges of our past have been joined by the global sustainability challenges of our present, and we want to go into the future on a sustainable development pathway. Let me read one more page before we decide how long we are going to go. It is clear that we have become capable of both great deeds and great destruction, and our expanding human agency seems to know few limits. We invented the concept of risk during the last great transformation at the beginning of Industrial Revolution, as we started to realize our own agency, and it has proven an excellent tool for managing uncertainty. It's not that we in any way can predict our future, but we utilize the concept of risk to anticipate what could happen. Moreover, we can use such an exercise to guide decisions and actions to steer our development toward a more sustainable future. However, our world is increasingly complex and dynamic, and so are our sustainability challenges. The human impact on our environment has accelerated exponentially over the last centuries. Demographic and socio-economic processes are continuously redrawing our human landscape, and globalization is increasing the extensity, intensity, and velocity of interactions across the world. Furthermore, the increasing complexity of modern society undermines our ability to oversee and steer our development, allowing society to drift into danger. So, there are words used. Climate crisis is something I mentioned. There is also something called dangerous anthropogenic change, and here we are saying we are drifting into danger. So these are not exactly quantitative or objective terms. They are somewhat subjective, and they are not global in that sense, and that's part of the problem, that you may have winners and losers. So freeloaders are always possible, rational ignorance is possible, avoiding action is possible, of course. We are progressively more cognizant of our dire destination, but seem so far to be collectively incapacitated to make any substantial changes on local, national, and international level, even as the symptoms of the unsustainable state we are in are many and they are growing. Of course, I have a slightly different view, that we are not just incapacitated by anything specific other than that the solutions are just not there, and our energy systems are carbon based, and we are trapped in a carbon system, in a carbon trap, because everything we do has carbon emissions or greenhouse gas emissions. So the other way to think of is the sustainability challenge is really to come up with solutions that produce energy and everything else we consume without emitting greenhouse gases. So let me come back and continue this in the next podcast, because this one has gone already for 10 minutes. We can go a few more minutes, but let me leave it here anyways. Okay.